You're listening to the home of all things Lindenwood sports. It's the Lions Den on KCLC HD through the Tower and on the Roar Network YouTube channel.
Welcome into the Lions Den on the campus of Lindenwood University. After a long week off, thanks to Justin here now being with the Battlehawks, getting your media pass.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm James Uckmeyer. You're Justin Powell.
Yes,
now
sir.
you're a big shot. You're too big for this show.
Big shot as if.
But this week, we are joined by special guests from your Lindenwood archery team, Ashton Probus and Lawson Viette. Got it right. Talked about it a lot before the show. I'm happy. I got it in there. Thank you guys so much for coming today. And just how are you guys doing today?
We're doing good. Enjoying the nice weather. We got packed up for the trip we were leaving for tomorrow. Got the classes out of the way. Got to knock out some homework, and the rest is going well.
Very nice. Well, if you guys have not tuned in before, we have a new athlete each week. In this case, we have two. Thank you guys very much. We keep you up to date on all the NCAA team sports, and as of right now, we're kind of getting into the, I guess, the back half of spring sports to where there's not as many.
I'm calling it the dog days, man.
Pretty much. It really is.
It's baseball, softball, and whatever's left.
Yeah. And then we finish with the 3 stars of the week and the team of the week, which is voted publicly on Instagram by you guys. But without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and jump into the interview, James?
All right. Well, Ashton, starting with you, how would you describe yourself both as a person and as an archer to someone who's never met you before?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would probably describe myself as like a good time. I mean, I think that. Maybe other people don't, but I definitely do.
That's
I like to have a good time just about anywhere, and that's pretty much it. It's like archery, too. I'm there to have fun, there to have a good time, but I am pretty serious about it most days, too.
That's fine.
So,
I think that's a fair assessment. I think we've had fun before the show a little bit. So
right, yeah.
that's a spot-on answer.
Yeah, but I will be serious if I need to be and focus in whenever it's time, so.
Yeah.
And Lawson, how would you describe yourself?
I'd say I differ a little bit. I'm a little more laid back, and I don't know. I feel like we all have fun in the end of it, but I think I'm more of a relaxed personality compared to Ashton, so it's kind of nice to see different stuff.
Yeah. So continuing with you, Lawson, when did you first pick up archery, and when did you just start to take it a little bit more seriously than normal?
I started shooting when I was 9. I got into it through 4-H. I picked up a bow to do some hunting with and just fell in love with it, and I've been shooting ever since. I started getting serious I think I was about 14. I started attending some state shoots and then kind of graduated to some national tournaments and kept going from there.
Ashton?
I started shooting 11 years ago, just about as well, and I jumped straight into competitive shooting.
Okay.
Just the bows got a little bit more advanced as I got a little older. So.
That's fair.
And then I got to ask both you guys, what were some of your favorite memories growing up, especially before Lindenwood, when it comes to archery?
It's a good question.
It's kind of a loaded one because I'm sure there's a lot that has happened.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I remember, like, in high school, I was in my senior year, and there's, like, a school program for shooting, and I was going to win the state tournament, and I kind of knew it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the last end, I was, like, just kind of hanging out with my dad. And I gave him a big hug because it was pretty simple. Like, I think I just didn't need to miss, basically, the whole target. So it's pretty wrapped up. But that'd be my favorite.
Probably a pretty good feeling. You know, like, I got this in the bag.
Yeah, normally that's the best feeling is all you have to do is hit the target. You did your job in some way that weekend. So
I've got quite a few fond memories, but I think the one that, like, I remember the most, it was in my younger days. I think it's when I was getting pretty serious. It was my first year shooting, like, all the national tournaments in one of the circuits, and I went into a tournament trailing in, like, the overall, like, they call it shooter of the year, and I came back and beat the guy that was my friend, and that one just resonates with me well. It's a pretty good memory.
So you said he was like a close friend of yours?
Yeah, we'd shot for a couple years prior, and just we knew each other well, and he had me beat going into it, and I came back and got him, and it was rewarding.
There you go.
What was the friendship like after that? I can't imagine if we were competing for something and, like, one of us won.
I would have been petty. I would have been petty.
It was
I'm not gonna
good,
lie.
but I think he ended up quitting after a couple of years just because life got in the way.
You ended his
That's
career,
fair.
bro. Come on now. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So, kind of bringing up those like younger memories and everything. What was the youth archery scene like back home, and what are your thoughts on the youth scene as a whole, and where is back home for you guys specifically?
So back home for me is Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's like about 7 hours from here.
Okay.
Back when I started, there was a few people that shot 4-H, but there really wasn't much going on. There's a lot of people that get into it and then kind of get out of it pretty quick at the young age just because life gets in the way, high school and all that, and you just kind of get burnt out. But it's doing a lot better now. There's a lot of youth starting to shoot. Unlike Ashton, where I'm from didn't really have NASP or any shooting programs with the school. So mine was more pretty much all individual, shooting with adults and stuff to get it started.
Yeah, our youth program at home is like pretty good. Indiana is one of probably the 4 major like youth archery states. There's a program called the National Archery in Schools program that if you've done any sort of shooting ever, you've used one of the bows.
Okay.
It's called a Genesis bow. It's like really simple compound, and you use your fingers with it. So
Yeah.
that's really like developed, but I'd love to see that kind of transition into more college and then even lifelong shooting, because you can shoot forever. We have 80-year-olds at the range down the street that still shoot with us, and they're a hoot. So
Where is the range that you guys shoot at around here? Because
it's on like the north side of Frenchtown.
okay,
It's like in between here and 370, like the highway.
okay, that's interesting.
It's a terrible way to describe it, but
Almost on
Frenchtown's pretty
5th
good.
Street.
Yeah,
it's not
5th
quite
Street.
5th Street, but it's just down
Okay,
that way.
I got you.
Yeah, so it's really close, and it's 24-hour access.
Oh, nice.
So we go all the time. So.
Well, you mentioned kind of the bows that you guys started out with. What I want to know is, how did you guys settle into your bow type, and how does one know when they're going to kind of go into a specific bow type? Like, when do they know it's right for them?
It's a good question. I grabbed the bow that I got, like I still have it today. I got that at like maybe 14. I think I was a sophomore in high school. And I did it just because I knew I wanted to shoot college archery, and the bow I was shooting wouldn't cut it. Like, they didn't have a league or kind of category for it.
Yeah.
And I would say that most people should like be open to shooting different things, because every bow doesn't click with every person. I know some people that were like not great with certain bows, but they're awesome with others. So like, just the category wise, I think Lawson may agree on that too. So
Yeah, I started off with like a bow hunter setup when I was just getting into it, and since then I've graduated. It's just a more advanced, like less limitations on like the equipment wise, and it kind of, people can shoot whatever they want, and you could do all of it, but it's kind of just whatever you enjoy most, and whatever, I'd say your goals are pretty important, like what you want to do with your archery. It kind of determines which path you end up taking. So
I will say Lawson's actually a regional champ with a bare bow.
I've shot all the bows.
He did it for fun last year. He shot outdoor with it, and he beat people on the national team. Like the
Really?
USA
Hey.
Archery national team. He beat them. And it's so cool. Like,
A week of practice.
yeah.
Did you ever get any dirty glares or any like
Oh, they were
invites?
mad.
They were so
They were
mad. They were so mad. Because, like, that school had, like, brought in specialists in this category.
Like,
And he
specifically just
in bare bow, like, good shooters, like, from other schools. And he just, like, casually picks up my bow, I think the week before. Yeah, and he bought a tab off of Amazon. And he beat him, like, comeback story. Like, it was crazy. And he nailed, like, a 10 to win it. Like, it's not even, like, luck. He was just good.
On second thought, that might be one of my favorite memories.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, love to hear that. So, oh man, I don't even.
That's a crazy story.
That is
That's
an absolutely
crazier things
crazy
we've
story
heard.
to think of. So,
100% accurate, too.
Like,
I
you were
believe it.
around 100%
I
accurate that
believe
week.
it.
I mean, that's nuts, man.
So, when was the first time you guys actually heard of Lindenwood University and sort of like seeing the program for the first time? What was your guys' impression of it?
College archery's taken pretty like drastic how much it grew. I think it was about around sophomore year of high school before I really like heard of it. There's one school that kind of got it started, and they started having the national college tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it's kind of just grown more. I think it was sophomore year when I first heard about Lindenwood. There was I was at one of the shoots and talked to a few people on the team. Kind of just opened my eyes to maybe this is a possibility. That was back before I was like super committed to it, and then since then it's the whole like field of collegiate archery has just grown a ton.
Yeah. I was actually on Lawson's visit. He went to a football game with us, which is crazy that our coach would let me be on that visit. I'm normally not the person that gets to hang out with the recruits, but I guess I was that day. I found out about Lindenwood probably my senior year, and I only came here for a visit before I went to any other schools, and I just thought it was the one. So
Okay.
Lindenwood's one of the only Division I universities with an archery team, especially one with a fully funded archery team like ours.
Really? Is that not typical in any sort of college
No.
for it to be fully funded?
Fully
or-
funded, it's normal, but normally
Okay.
you see like a D2 or NAIA school.
Okay.
But Division I, you rarely see full funding. And
Most of the smaller schools get more money for their just because it's a more major. And like,
Yeah.
this is definitely I'd say Lindenwood's the best like school if you're going there for school with an archery program.
Because I gotta say, if it probably feels a little weird going to a school that's so close to like a city lifestyle for archery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is, but St. Louis is like rooted in archery history.
Okay.
Like, and you probably didn't know that.
No.
So,
But love to hear about it.
yeah, if you drive down just about any major highway, on the side of it's going to be a municipal archery range. I'm not going to give a number, but there's a ton of archery ranges on like the side of the road or
Okay.
just a couple bales or whatever. But there's a really large brand. It's called Hoyt. They were developed in St. Louis, from St. Louis, and competitive archery grew around that brand.
Okay.
And that's
Really?
kind of
Okay.
how everything got pushed and made to what it is today. Obviously, there's other brands and bigger
Yeah.
brands probably than them, but that's actually like it all started pretty much here in a competitive wise. So
I love learning new St. Louis lore, and thank you for
Yeah,
that.
it's
That's
cool,
that's
eh?
sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, once you think you know all the St. Louis lore, you learn some
There's
more.
always more
Yeah.
that you just don't know.
Yeah, this city is just so old, and there's so much stuff that's happened here.
yeah,
It makes it sound so
Yeah.
bad. So, talked a little bit about your guys' first impressions and everything, but when was the first time that you actually talked to Coach Schaub, and how did that conversation go for each of you guys? We'll start with Ashton.
yeah. I was like it was a phone call. And
Okay.
if you know Derek, like he can talk, like not like he can just like he has a really good conversation.
Yeah.
So like, I was on the phone with him for probably 3 hours, and I walked like I
Really?
get inside my house after being in the car, and my mom's like, "Who were you on the phone with?" And I'm like, "This Derek guy from Lindenwood," and I'd never heard of the school, because I'm from Southern Indiana,
Yeah.
and like. Like I don't know, like maybe like I'll talk to him. So like I just kept talking to him, and it just sounded at least like I could come for a visit. Right?
Yeah.
Like I at least could give him the time of day, and I'm still here. So
Mine was a little bit different. I actually met Derek in person. There's a program that's called Scholastics 3D Archery, which they give like tournaments that the winners get scholarships at. So that was still when it was a little bit younger, but obviously the program was already established. I met him there, and that was my first time meeting him, and talked ever since.
Well, I got to ask you guys, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but what makes Lindenwood's archery program so different from other schools?
Lindenwood has a unique program because I'd say there's a lot of aspects that make Lindenwood good. The coaching staff is pretty good. We have a lot of experience with the coaches. one of our coaches was, I think he was like Olympic runner or not like.
He was
He was
going.
a-
He
he
was
was a
gonna go.
reserve to
Like
go
he,
to the
he definitely
Olympics.
could have went.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like that's kind of more his discipline, like coaching wise.
Mhm.
And then one of our other coaches, he's has a bow shop and knows a lot of stuff about like working on equipment and that. Also, like the 24-hour range that helps. And then, I mean, just being rooted in a spot where archery is like pretty common and easily accessible really helps too.
I think the talent on the team probably makes us different
Okay.
than most. Archers want to be able to shoot all the time, and we want to be around good shooters.
Okay.
So the fact that we can have both at a good school, like it's hands down just no-brainer most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of going into that, you talk about the 24-hour range, and you like to be as consistent as possible with that. What does a typical training week look like for you guys?
If I'm shooting indoor archery, because there's different types. If I'm shooting indoor archery, I'm trying to get in at least probably 120 arrows. So it could just be 2 hours of shooting.
Okay.
But if I'm going outside, you double your arrows for sure, if not triple them with total arrow count. So you're thinking 300, 350 on like maybe a heavy day.
Okay.
And that takes forever because you have to walk such a far distance and then walk back. And it's way more walking than shooting, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, I'd say a typical week. It varies for everybody just based on like class schedule and what's coming up. A lot of us shoot different disciplines, so it's kind of more personalized. But I'd say most of us shoot around probably 400 to 500 arrows a week, and then more of like the ones that do it more year round and a little more. I don't want to say seriously because we all do it seriously, but the ones that do it more specialized. They put in a lot of time there, just not even shooting sometimes, just getting equipment right and all the stuff that goes along with doing archery.
So, and kind of going back to triple the arrows because outside everything, I'm assuming that's because there's a lot more factors behind it, such as like wind, what might be, what you might have to like be aiming for and stuff like that with it.
Yeah, with my bow, I shoot an Olympic recurve. I think I failed to mention that earlier, actually, when we were talking about equipment.
All good.
So that's the bows you're going to see on NBC every 4 years. You're shooting at a donut or an orange at 77 yards. So, like, stand on the 35 and shoot at the goalpost, essentially, on the football, the other goalpost, right? And that's what I'm shooting at. So you're thinking wind, you're thinking, like, is it humid in the air? Is it, super sunny? There's so many factors that a good shooter would know, and the only way to get good at it is just to do it and do it more.
Yeah.
So we're not, I will say we are the archery team. We're not running every day. We're not hitting the weights super hard. If we are, like, a lot of it's just, like, mental work and just physical training itself.
But I mean, you already kind of get your cardio in every time you got to go back and forth grabbing those arrows, so it's not like you need any more of it.
I got a step counter because I was curious.
There you go.
So, like,
how many steps do you normally get?
A lot. It's a ways. So.
Well, I got to ask, you say 77 for you. Is that consistent across most of the categories, or does it change?
No, that is only the recurve category outdoors.
Yeah, they have different, kind of differ. There's like 4 probably main circuits of like different tournaments. So right now we're shooting just 20 yards inside kind of during the winter months. And then there's also 3D tournaments, which have different yardages. And then the Olympic stuff, which is the 77 meters. It's a wide range of different shooting styles.
And I know there are all those different types of tournaments. You guys shoot indoor, outdoor, and all the stuff you just mentioned. For people like us, we're just regular newbies. We watch every sport. Archery, we're not the most knowledgeable on. So can you guys just walk us through what does a day of a tournament look like, and what are these competitions like?
You want to do a 3D one and all?
Yeah, I think so. 3D is like it's really good for beginners just because there's a wide variety of classes for people to shoot with all different from novice to professional and different yardages and it's a good time to get together, and state level tournaments, local tournaments, all the way up to national tournaments. So it's a little more outside. It's outside and it's more fun most of the time, and it's pretty good for beginners just because they don't they have it's more attention. Like it's not as boring pretty much.
Yeah. And then on that, an outdoor round is going to be you have three ends of practice, and then you're going to shoot 12 ends of 6 arrows, so you're shooting 72 arrows for score. So it's not necessarily as much of like precision. I mean, obviously it's precision, but it's more that mental strain and the physical strain of
Stamina.
like, yeah, you got to have the mind for it too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're missing the 10 ring every once in a while, and you're trying to get through 6 arrows over 3 or 4 hours, depending on what the weather's doing or whatnot.
So I'm kind of glad you actually bring up the mental versus physical, because it is just as much mental as it is physical. What does your thought process kind of have to look like when you go in for a shot? What does it have to like? What do you have to put yourself through before going up to shoot?
Archery's it's not the only sport, but it's one sport that you can't get the moment back.
Okay.
So that puts a different perspective on, I can't train like a football player or maybe a basketball player would, because they can miss a shot and still have a great, free throw percentage or whatever. So you just kind of have to commit to everything you're doing and just kind of have some faith in yourself. There's a lot more to it than that, obviously. But I spend a lot of time working on my mental game. Like, I do a lot of visualization. So this tournament coming up, I know exactly what it's going to look like, how hot it's going to be in there, just because I've been there so many times.
Yeah.
What's it going to sound like when the first whistle goes off, or what's my bow going to feel like? Because I know my arms are going to feel a little stronger than they normally do, because I'm going to be pretty excited to shoot. So
Yeah.
just kind of controlling what you can control there and just following your steps, and that normally kind of gets it somewhere near the middle.
Yeah, the mental game varies for a lot of people. It's the toughest part of archery. Anybody you ask that's shot tournaments will say that. And it varies for everybody. I'd say, like, for beginners and just, like, the most important mental thing is just realizing what you're doing and, like, trying to repeat that every time. There's a lot of different strategies in, like, perfecting the mental game, but getting your process down first and then perfecting it from there is just a big step.
Well, I know,
Get there.
and sorry for cutting you off
No,
there a
you're
little bit, but so I come from a bowling background, and I know it feels kind of similar.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't get it back. Once you screw up, you just got to push it away and move on. And I know for me, going from the high school game to the college game, that was the biggest thing, was mental. Is like the way that your team is put together in bowling is a little different. So when you make that mistake, it feels amplified. It affects all of your teammates, not just your score. But for you guys, when you guys came from before college to now, what were some of the biggest adjustments that you had to make personally?
For me, I went from shooting by myself just in like my garage for quite a few years, and then getting into a team environment was a big change for me just because I'd never been around anybody to shoot with. So right off the bat, like the first, I was getting ready for the first national collegiate tournament I've been to. I'm like, man, I'm just not shooting good. I finally just had to realize I was just shooting too much. Being around a team, I was just enjoying it and got ahead of myself and was just shooting way too much and just kind of wearing down my body and not giving myself enough time to recover. But being around the team was the biggest change for me. Just having like people to rely on and push you to get better was pretty fun to be able to experience.
Yeah, I think I'm not the same. I did have that team, so like, and I was okay with that. But probably the biggest thing I had to learn was like, honestly, just how to deal with the nerves. Like,
yeah,
I think the difference, one of the bigger differences between like Lawson and I's bow is I can't get it to go off whenever I want it to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no fail safe. I can just hit a button or like pull extra hard and it goes through. Like, I I'm shooting them with this little piece of metal on the end of my arrow that slaps against the bow, and that tells me when to go. So if I don't hear that, I'm not letting it go. So it's like it's supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah.
So, like, I had to figure out how to get through those moments and how to get through that kind of a little bit better under a lot of pressure, because it kind of seemed like college gave me significantly more meaningful tournaments to go to.
Okay.
Whether it was college or maybe just stuff I was doing during college.
Yeah.
Shoots have got a little bit more prestigious and a little bit bigger, and I love it. So I don't walk away.
Well, you're talking about those big prestigious competitions and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I know your answer to this question.
Yeah.
But what has been your favorite competition that you've shot at so far?
You up first?
Oh, I guess I know you were
Either
paying
or.
attention. There's an archery style called field. You'll learn real quick that there's like any type of archery you want to shoot, there's something for it.
Yeah.
So there's a competition called field. So you're basically on a hiking trail with different distances, and sometimes you can use your rangefinder to figure out how far they are, and sometimes you have to guess it. And that's like the most fun thing in archery. And I
sounds
shoot,
like a lot of
I
fun.
shoot really good whenever I have fun. That's my favorite time to shoot. It's like my only favorite time to shoot.
When you're able to kind of lay back a little
Yeah,
bit and
and
not
it's
be so
like-
uptight about it.
So I went to some trials and I ended up on the national team for this field tournament. So I went to Canada and shot in a tournament in the middle of nowhere, Canada. It was so fun. Like, it was the first time I got to like hang out with like international shooters. Because
Okay.
you see them, like, as a younger kid, you're like, oh, that would be cool. And then all of a sudden you're, like, in the tournament. And it was sick. So, like, that's probably my favorite tournament I've been to.
There you go.
And I got a medal. So, like,
Oh, nice.
you know, that's always, ones you win are always
Cherry
your
on
favorite,
top,
right?
you know?
Yeah.
Is that televised anywhere, those types of events? Because that seems like a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. They're on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
There's some of them that are on the Sportsman channel on actual TV too.
Okay.
Because that feels more of like archery as it was, like back in the day. Like you're actually out there, you're shooting different distances,
Yeah.
you have to like adapt.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really fun viewing experience. And I mean, it sounds like it's fun
Yeah,
to compete in.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Mine's really similar to his. Like, the field's really similar to 3D. 3D is the same thing, except for it's like foam animals.
Okay.
And so that's more of a hunting perspective. And
Yeah.
my fun fact is I went hunting for the first time this year. Like, I'd never been hunting in 22 years of life until this year. And I decided to, like, I'm not against it. I just had never
Yeah.
been. So that was my fun fact. And then I ruined it by going hunting for the first time. So,
Did you get anything?
no, I missed.
Ah.
So,
I've got a couple fond memories. I think there's a few that are all really close, but this past October, I won the collegiate national championship, which was fun. That was a individual national championship.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Our team also did really good there, and it was just fun. I think we had a lot of medals. Recurve team did well, both women and men's, and it was just a great experience. The collegiate side's really fun.
Well, I want to ask as well, you know, the coaching seems like it's pretty solid here at Lindenwood. What is the best advice that you guys have received in your time here?
I think the best advice is just stick with it and do what you know is right for the most part. There's so much information coming in, and it's so personalized. You kind of just have to do what works for you, and I feel like the coaches really embrace that. They give a lot of pointers and stuff that could help you, but you got to try it all and figure out what works for yourself. And focusing on that has been a big aspect for me.
I probably have two that I like can't decide between, so I'm just gonna tell you both.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
One of my coaches just says don't suck, which is like no brainer, but like he
Great
would be
advice.
so happy if I said that right now, so I'm saying it right now.
Solid
and then,
advice.
The other one that's probably a little bit deeper than that is like everyone's on their own archery journey. So like you can't compare yourself today where someone is also today, because you're on a high or a low, and like it's just you out there. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, you're the only one pulling the bow back, you know. you can't compare yourself to other people. No matter how hard you want to, or like how much your progress says you should be somewhere, it doesn't matter where you're like supposed to be. It's about you doing your thing, and you'll get there whenever it's time to get there.
It's a good way to put it.
So,
Deep.
going to be looking ahead a little bit, but also kind of individualistically. So, what were your expectations going into this season, and how have you been able to sort of live up to them, or what are you doing to sort of kind of work up to those goals?
For like the indoor season, which is the one we're in right now,
Yeah.
I feel like I've left some cards unturned. So I really want to make sure, being a senior, that like this is my last indoor season with college.
Okay.
So like it'll be the last tournaments I go to for some of them. So I don't want to leave anything undone. So I'm making my like best effort I can, just to try to like leave my best mark, I guess.
Yeah.
So just working harder and remembering stuff that didn't work in the past to not do it again.
Okay.
So,
I came off a really good season last year. It was my rookie year in the professional class for like the outside tournaments outside of college. And so like thinking of that, I knew I wanted to come in and try to win the national championship, which thankfully I was able to do. And then going into this season, I just wanted to keep up what I kept doing last year, and just grow as an archer and keep trying to perfect the stuff that makes you miss.
Well, it seems like you guys have some time to keep working on those things. What does the rest of this season look like for both of you guys individually and also for the team? What events do we have coming up, and when does this season come to a close?
Tomorrow, actually, the team is all heading to Las Vegas for the final indoor tournament of the year. That'll be a fun one. We should have a pretty good shot at that one. And right after that, I think 2 weeks later, we go to our regional tournament, totally switching gears outside. So different bow setups, going to all have to learn those and fine-tune those just in 2 weeks. And then like a month after that, we have the next national collegiate tournament. So as soon as this one's over, the grind kind of begins, getting ready for the outdoor season.
So do you have any ASAs coming up?
Yeah, I just got back from ASA a couple days ago, which is like the outside circuit outside of college, and got some more of those coming up later this year too.
He got third in that one, for the record. He made a podium. He's not telling you. I'm going to.
He's making it sound real nonchalant, but you're not letting it pass.
Yeah, I was on YouTube watching it live. I'm like, yeah, I know that guy. It's sick, yeah.
Well, congrats on the podium finish.
Thank you.
So I do have to ask, you guys are going to Vegas. Are you guys staying anywhere on the Strip, or are you guys kind of like right outside of it?
No, we're on the Strip. We're gonna stay at the Paris Hotel. I think we shoot in the Paris and the Horseshoe. So they're kind of, what are they, Caesars technically? Or there's some conglomerate of hotel chains, and they all link together. So we're really excited. We were at the South Point, which is known for the NFR, the National Final Rodeo.
Okay.
That's kind of what like that's known for. So we used to shoot in like the arenas, obviously not with the dirt, but like down where they would do all like the barrel racing and bull riding is where the pros would shoot. So we're going from there, and then it feels a little bit more official going on the Strip, going to Las Vegas. So it'll be really fun. We'll be able to like kind of get out, see the town. Although Lawson and I have been this is your fifth time.
Yeah.
So there's not much we haven't seen that we should. So
that's fair. But it's still got to be, time away from school, little bit of travel time, and, you go out there, do your work, and then
that's fun.
Have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
It's tough to get prepared to go with all the schoolwork. I'm so behind.
The archery season, I don't know if you've picked up on it, but it never ends.
I've picked up on that a little bit.
There's an official off season, and it's October and November, and if you look at your local conservation time, it's exactly when deer season opens, and they do it on purpose. So like nationally and internationally, archery is only not shooting during October and November. So I'm looking forward to October and November. It's gonna be great.
So cool. That is such a cool scheduling format.
I was about to say, I used to live in a town out sort of middle of nowhere, Missouri, called Herman, and magically there was always a week we were off school. It was fall break,
isn't it?
and it was right in the middle of October and November, and it's like, you threw that break in there because it's deer season. Nobody was showing up to school anyway.
Yeah, it was youth season. They're not coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, now I wish I was in the middle of bum. You know what?
You got a free week off school.
Would've been cool.
So, with that being said, at off season, do you guys take place in any sort of competitions away from Lindenwood or during that off season time?
Yeah, so I'd say the off season's it's actually my biggest time for tournaments. Outside of collegiate schedules, I think there's like 6 ASA tournaments, which is the 3D deer kind of targets, the animal targets. That's the main circuit I participate in, and then the North Circuit goes on while we're in school, but it's also kind of a downtime for the collegiate side.
Yeah, the collegiate season is going to range from probably whenever we come back to school. So August to October is kind of that season. And then it doesn't really, we do because we go to a lot of different things, but it doesn't really have to pick up until probably January. But Lawson and I traveled together in December or even late November to go to a shoot inside.
Okay.
I'll have a bunch of outdoor tournaments I go to because I shoot a Olympic recurve bow. I tend to shoot outdoor target, and because he shoots a really fancy hunting bow, he's going to shoot a lot of animals with it. So we kind of, oh boy. Chair fell. Sorry guys.
My bad. Our bad. Sorry.
No. We tend to not shoot the same things, which is good because I don't think I'd want him to shoot my discipline. I'd feel bad about myself. So.
Well, we're going to move into some of our final questions of the show here. These are more of the fun questions. With both of you guys not really being from the area, I got to ask, what were your opinions of St. Louis before you got here, which I know from a lot of other places is usually negative. And now that you have been here, what are some of the best experiences and best places that you've been in the St. Louis region?
I really like St. Charles area. I haven't really ventured to St. Louis much. I think I might actually move here after college, so I've had a pretty pleasant experience with it. I like the general area. I think I haven't really done a whole lot, extracurricular wise, but we did go to a couple Blues games, which I enjoyed. They were pretty fun. I'm not from a hockey spot, so I had no clue what was going on. I just liked when they banged each other against the glass. I'm like, this is the best part of hockey.
Best part of hockey right there.
When I first heard that Derek had offered me, it pops up on the map of where St. Charles is, because it says St. Charles. It does not say St. Louis on Lindenwood. And on the map, you're seeing all these buzzword parts of St. Louis that you might see on the news and how close they are. And my dad's absolutely not. So my mom actually on our visit took a better way into town. We went 40 miles out of the way, so we didn't have to go through any rough spots
city
or whatever, just so my dad would give it the time of day.
Because you came in from Indiana.
Yeah.
So you're crossing through the east side.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but there's better and worse parts.
I will say this, there's a difference between St. Louis and East St. Louis.
And St. Charles, right?
And St. Charles is so vastly different than both of them.
Oh, yeah. So, I'd like to move here eventually. I think it'd be pretty cool. Maybe not, in St. Charles, but I think the area is pretty neat. I have a lot of friends here now and whatnot, so I love it. I think my favorite part, honestly, is you can go to a Cardinals game really nice now, but you used to be able to go to a Cardinals game, you buy the worst ticket in the building for $5 and split parking, and you could still get a drink or something at the game for $20.
Yeah.
It's sick.
I will say, being from St. Louis area and everything, if you guys still like to hunt and all that, move 20 minutes down the road to Wentzville.
Yeah, or Warrenton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wentzville or Warrenton, perfect civilization but middle of nowhere, so you don't feel like you're disconnecting, but you could still have all the fun of being outdoors and stuff like that.
I like it. I'm from the city of Evansville in Indiana,
Yep.
so technically it's a semi-big little dot on the map.
Yeah.
And I thought I was from a city when I came here. I don't know about Lawson, but I thought I was from a city, and then I got here, I went home for the first time after being here for like a month, and I'm like, this town's so small. Like, don't have to drive 30 minutes to Walmart? That's awesome, isn't it? Like, jeez.
You know, Evansville's done some advertising, a lot of advertising
They
actually
have.
on our ESPN Plus stuff.
Really?
It's always like, oh, you got to visit, you got to visit. And then, of course, the OVC championships are hosted at the Ford Center.
Ford Center, yeah. So, I don't know.
Well, I got to ask, this is one of our major questions we ask everybody. We have like 3 more that are kind of like our
Okay.
mainstay questions. If you guys could change one thing about the current archery landscape, what would it be?
That's a tough one. Man, I don't know. It's really doing pretty good. It's finally starting to gain a lot of traction with, all the NASP and the programs we've talked about. They're all really doing fairly well. The bigger tournaments are actually starting to get broadcasted on TV. I would say the one thing that I would probably change is, like, they added a compound into the Olympics for 2028, but
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of deserves a little more highlighted, just because it's a pretty big division across the whole world, not just the nation or like here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think they could expand on that a little better, and I think it'd do just as good as recurve, which is what everybody kind of knows as the Olympic sport for archery. I think compound, if that was somehow would gain a little more traction Olympically, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see. There's a couple like paywalls you have to get through, like without getting too deep into the archery world. You can't watch a lot of it live. You have to pay for like subscriptions, and as someone who was like, I was on that once, and my grandma like still has a subscription.
Yeah.
So like, I'd love for her not to have that, but just a little bit more awareness maybe.
Yeah.
For archery is probably what I would say. There's a archery Premier League is what it's called. It's an archery team-based professional system in India. The USA is not necessarily the biggest country for archery. India is massive for archery. They have 1 billion people, but
Yeah.
South Korea, its national pride is archery. So, yeah, didn't know that.
No,
So,
didn't know that. That's
yeah,
awesome to
right?
learn.
So, yeah, and I think awareness, exactly. So, like,
Yeah.
awareness of it would be really cool. Archery's sick. That's all I can say. It's not the only, but, like, it's one of the major sports that, like, everyone's equal. We're on the same playing field. You could have massive arms or you're super tiny, and if you're good at shooting your bow, you're going to win.
And
That's
it can be fun to watch. That thing that he said, that little organization, that's pretty exciting,
Yeah.
especially compared to a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
that most people know to be archery.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I did know that about South Korea. I feel proud of myself for knowing something
Yeah.
because
I
I watched
did
the
not.
Olympics and they were cold.
Were they?
Oh, yeah.
They've won the past, like, it's like been the 90s, I think, like way back. I say way back. The 90s people are going to get mad at me over that. But, like, no, for real, like, I think 96 was the last time that a Korean woman did not win the gold medal.
So, about 30 years ago. I'd say that's way back. I think you're valid in
Right?
saying
Yeah,
that
thank
one.
you.
Yeah.
I think
Talked about a streak of medals that it
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to
we're
say
talking-
30 years. I think that's way back
Yeah,
enough.
that's insane. So, like, the women's, like, Korean team is nuts, and then the men, there's not a single international shooter that wants to see Korea on their roster, like, against themselves in the bracket. There's one guy that probably feels pretty confident in America, and that's it, like, period. But I wouldn't want to have to see that, so.
And I'm just glad I got to learn a little bit more about that because, yeah, I did not know that about Korea. But talking a little bit about sort of beyond and, like, professional leagues and stuff like that, what is your guys' majors and what are your plans beyond your collegiate archery careers?
Like,
Go ahead. So, like,
professionally or, like, even with archery itself?
if you decide to continue archery, if you just want to go back to doing it recreationally, or what you have planned beyond college.
So, my major has changed several times because I want to shoot archery as much as I can.
Mhm.
I found out I can't do that with a lot of majors. I can. I'm not the guy that can, is how I should say that. So, I have a health and wellness degree. I should be wrapping up in the fall.
Okay.
I'd love to get a job in that, and I'd love for it to have, like, a pretty open schedule because I don't plan on stopping.
Yeah.
Although my funding will dry up. eventually because my parents will stop paying for my archery. And, I mean, that's no secret. All my friends know that. But I'd really like to shoot until either, someone tells me to stop or I figure out it's not going to happen. And, most of the time that's the Olympics for people. But for me, it's just the next step is all I'm trying to get to. So,
yeah.
Yeah, my major is environmental science. Should have a degree in that, wrapping up next fall. Right now, I'm going to probably stick with archery professionally for the next couple years. Hopefully I can have a job that allows for both, but you really never know till you know. So if all else fails, I'm probably going to continue shooting for at least another 2 to 3 years, or at least till the Olympics pass. I think that might be fun to attempt to make, and then kind of go from there. We'll just judge how the seasons keep going.
So basically just go until the wheels fall off, and
pretty much
even then still try to find a way.
Yeah, you don't have to give up in archery. Like I said, you can be 80 years old, but I will say we were just talking about it earlier. It's really hard to not be a professional anymore in archery.
Yeah.
I don't know this because I haven't stopped shooting, but I do know professionals that they just stop whenever the wheels fall off. They don't keep going. So I may find I don't know, maybe it'll be pro cornhole or something whenever I'm done with that. So
I mean, that does get shown on ESPN too. I have seen
they're
a couple
nasty with it,
professional
yeah.
cornhole games.
They're so good.
They are good.
Yeah.
Our final question for you guys. It's been a great interview. It's actually been 46 minutes.
I was about to say,
it's
this
been a
has
long
been an
one.
awesome
Yeah.
interview.
This one is one of the tougher questions that people have to answer. But what is something about archery that you wish more people understood, especially people that have never really interacted with the sport before?
I think for archery, managing goals is a big thing in life, and it really helps teach you how to get to goals, and especially mental side. You just grow a lot in the sport, and even in outside life, just making goals, setting them, working to achieve them, and make new ones every year, every season. Short goals, big goals, whatever. Just learning how to work towards something is probably the biggest lesson it's taught me.
I think just the fact that archery can be for anybody is probably what I would want most people to know about it. I wasn't good at sports. I was okay, but I wasn't good at them, and archery was something I was good at. So you don't have to be crazy athletic, or you don't even have to be technically able-bodied. I mean, there's Paralympic people. You've probably seen some maybe highlight clips of Matt Stutzman's his name, but the guy with no arms.
And the dude who shoots with his
right?
feet.
He's shooting. His name's Matt, and if that's not the coolest thing in the world, I don't know what is. Someone who literally doesn't have the two things you need to shoot archery, which are two hands, and you can still do it. That's awesome. That and it's the most inclusive sport in the world. It was one of the first women's Olympic sports. Actually, in St. Louis. Again, another little tidbit.
Wow.
Fact.
There we go.
I learned this in my classes, actually. But yeah, it was one of the first women's sports in the Olympics. So, I mean, that's sick. Archery's cool, and people should do it. Is really the end of the story there.
There you go.
Archery is cool. We've learned a lot about it today. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys.
We really appreciate it. Honestly, guys, just good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All righty.
I'm going to walk these fine gentlemen out, and Justin, you're going to take over for a second.
Yep. Alrighty, everybody. We are going to go ahead and hop into the Lion's Den.
It's time to go inside the Lions Den and break down every current Lindenwood sports team.
Alrighty, so before we hop into the den specifically, we have a little bit of breaking news. Now, we are reporting on this as an alleged source. We are seeing some things on Twitter through On3, and according to her agent, Amber Mathurin, Ellie Brueggemann, the sharpshooting junior, plans to enter the portal. That's right. One of the big three out of this women's basketball team is planning to find a new home outside of Lindenwood. She averaged 14 points. She was 31 assists while shooting 44% from 3, top 10 nationally. First star player for Lindenwood in their D1 era. That is before Alicia Jones came along.
That is my opinion, not necessarily a fact. But when she came in and started doing her thing, I was like, that's the star. That's the one who's going to take us over the top. And magically, we've been pretty darn good over the last 2 years.
We have. And I think this last one speaks for just about everybody at Lindenwood. If she goes, she will be very missed. Very much so.
Yeah. I mean, she's one of the OGs. I know, geez, I can see how their chair fell. She was one of the first ones. I mean, you get someone that comes to Lindenwood and in the age of NIL and the age of unlimited transferring, someone who stuck it out through a not-so-good year, and then the next 2 years finds that success.
Yeah.
And I know her second year with Lindenwood, she was dealing with some different things, too, that I'm not going to go into detail about, but she had to struggle through some things, and she stayed. And I'm really happy that Amy Egan was able to keep this roster together for as long as she did. Unfortunately, and not even unfortunately, fortunately, there is money to be had for some of these athletes.
Yeah.
And if she transfers away, well, she's shooting 44% from 3. Another school's going to want that, and she's going to get a bag.
Yeah.
So.
Look, it's still up in the air. Nothing is 100%. It is still very possible that she's back here next season. However, it's looking like she's going to hit the portal, and she is going to try and find elsewhere, according to her agent.
Right. I mean, these haven't come straight out of Lindenwood, but usually schools aren't reporting on this.
Schools don't report on transfer portals. They report on how great their athlete does.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we should swap spots.
We should swap
Let's do
spots.
that.
All right, here's the swap spot.
All right, I'm coming in. All right, I'm here. Let's get framed up. Let's make sure these cameras are happy and that we're looking all good, like a cigarette should. Although I don't smoke and I never will in my life.
Like a cigarette? Who smokes cigarettes?
I believe it's an old saying. It's an old motto.
2026.
I mean, Joe Camel, dude, he was a pretty cool mascot. So cool, in fact, that the U.S. government had to ban him from commercials because he was doing such a good job promoting cigarettes.
I believe it. Kind of like the Marlboro Man.
The Marlboro Man. I'm not familiar.
Marlboro Man?
Not
You
familiar.
don't know the Marlboro Man?
No.
God, I'm old.
Does he live on Marlboro Lane?
Stop. Oh my God! All right. Okay, men's volleyball. We need to get out of this.
No more cigarette talk.
God, I can't believe you almost the little gingerbread man. Or no, what is that? Men's volleyball.
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man. Dude, it's been a week. Alrighty, so men's volleyball, they improved to 17-3 since the last show, which was not last week, but the week prior, with wins over Belmont Abbey College and Queen's University of Charlotte. Unfortunately, they lost to McKendree, though, 1-3, causing Lindenwood to drop from tied 8th position to 11th in the rankings. The last game against Queens came to a 3-2 set score, which is a bit of a scare to a Lindenwood team that is hoping to actually keep this historic season going, especially with them breaking that top 10, now barely dropping out of it. We need to start seeing them kind of pick that momentum back up again. McKendree, they got wins against some good teams, but McKendree was the only ranked one, and that's the only one that really matters in the eyes of the ranking system.
True that. We need to tilt your camera down somehow a little bit. You have a little bit too much headroom. Here, I can even switch my laptop over so you can see that a bit while I talk about some men's volleyball. Hopefully nothing comes unplugged. All right, there you go. Now you have a reference if you can get yourself framed up. You got to use that and frame it up. Anyways, men's volleyball. So, dude, I don't know why. I just don't feel as good. I even predicted the McKendree loss, but it's not the loss that's really bothering me. It's the injuries that appear to be piling up for this squad. Because I never really thought that this was the most talented team in the land. I thought this was a team that was well prepared, did the little things right, added a serve-receive that wasn't something that they were strong in last year. And this year it's been such a big piece of why they're so successful. It's the being ultra-aggressive off their serves. It's the aces. It's things of that nature.
Yeah.
But when the injuries start piling up, it's next man up. And I don't know about the depth of this team. That is something that is yet to be seen. You've had some guys had to step up over this last week. And you look at the one against McKendree, that was a healthy team. Against a McKendree team that's also healthy. The serve receive didn't show up in that one. You had more kills than McKendree, but you had too many errors. You had too many kills, but you gave things back on, blocking errors, off of just overall attacking errors, service errors. These things add up over the course of a game. That's what lost them that one. Like, it was close. Respectfully, every single set felt pretty close. Lindenwood was in it, but it also was a team that just didn't have their stuff that day. Yeah. And they picked a bad time to not have their stuff, although, I hate to say it, I saw it coming. I thought, if they're going to lose at some point, they're going to lose here. You can't win forever. You have to lose eventually, and they lost to a team that is solid, a really good McKendree squad. Now, versus Queens, you have Brendan Luthane not playing, and in the first match, Lindenwood didn't know how to adjust. They only hit 240 in that one. The second least aces they've had in a match all season, which was 3 service aces, and they had 20 service errors. Not a good ratio.
No.
Not where they want to be, not where they have been. But when you lose a guy who is second in the team in kills, and I believe third in aces, it throws things off. It takes time to adjust. But weirdly enough, they hit poorly. They did not have a good game, and they won 3-0. The next game, Zach Solomon not playing. Lindenwood's up 2-0. They're cruising. Felt like they kind of checked out a little bit, I'm not going to lie. They were hitting 413 in the first 2 sets, which is surprising considering Solomon's not playing. They don't have their normal setter, giving them the perfect set to attack over the net. They're doing fine.
Yeah.
The next 2 sets after that, they were hitting a whopping 176. Not good, not what they wanted. They dropped those 2 sets. And then the fifth set, Queens makes a bunch of errors. They made 6 total errors over, first to 15.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, Lindenwood does not win. But Queens wasn't ready for the moment. They made the mistakes. Lindenwood snuck out of there 3-2. So it was a interesting week, to say the least.
Yeah.
But they came out 2-1, 2 wins over a conference opponent. Those MIVA standings, they're very important. I understand Queens has not been the best this year, and McKendree certainly has, but they're still ahead of McKendree in those standings, and hopefully that is going to hold until we get to that conference tournament. Also, Lincoln Geist is the MIVA Defensive Player of the Week, averaged 2.25 digs per set over 8 sets. Just a great week for him. He had 100% reception percentage on 40 total attempts. So that's pretty cool. First of the 2026 season as far as honors there. He also had one last season.
Yeah.
So let's move into the predictions because we got some big matchups coming up for this squad. I believe both against ranked opponents. Is Purdue Fort Wayne? Yeah, Purdue Fort Wayne still ranked, I believe.
I do believe so. They are actually ranked number 20.
Number 20. So yeah, they're right on the edge of those rankings, but they're still a very solid, respectable team.
Yeah, for now. For now.
Really?
For now. But let me go ahead and tell you when and where you can watch those real quick. Why is this going wonky? So, actually, we are kind of in the tail end of men's volleyball season right now, with only what looks like about 6 games left before we hit the MIVA tournament. So this is literally a third of the games left. Number 7 Ball State is here at Highland Arena, and that is going to be 7 p.m. on Thursday. So if you want to go ahead and go watch that, 7 p.m. Thursday, watch it here at Highland Arena.
Please be there. Please.
You can watch it on ESPN Plus. Highly recommend you go watch it in person, though, because they're going to need the fan support.
Well, they do, because Ball State is a really good team when it comes to that fan support. A very hostile environment. I know we felt it the last time we played them.
Exactly.
We need to turn the tables on them. We need a student section that's raucous. I feel like, and we'll talk about more on the show, things kind of feel down right now in terms of athletics. Let's show up and give one of our best teams a good support.
Exactly.
Give them some good energy in the crowd.
So, 7 p.m. Thursday, Highland Arena, be there. Now, next one, number 20, Purdue Fort Wayne, is on Saturday, 1 p.m., Robert Highland Arena. That one is not going to be available to stream anywhere else. That one is purely a home game. That means you got to go. 110% go. You're a student. You get in free anyway. Go to the game. If not free, you get in cheap. You can't beat cheap, especially in college. Go to the game. Go to the game. Go to the game. Go to the game. I'll say it about a million times more if I really need to. I don't think I do, though. So, with that, let's get into the predictions. I'll go ahead and kick us off here. I think we lose against Ball State. I think this is yet another loss against Ball State. You're kind of pointing out a lot of those injuries, and it is starting to look like some of those injuries are starting to kind of poke out. Now, this could just be they're resting some of their star players against an opponent that they know was easy in Queens, so we might be reading into nothing. It might be, just...
Yeah, because we don't know about Solomon.
Yeah, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's happening.
Brandon Luthane, that injury was not good.
Yeah.
But with Solomon, we have no idea yet. Plus, those games were not... you couldn't watch them. They weren't on ESPN Plus, so I couldn't go back and figure out exactly when that was. So we don't know.
Exactly. And, I mean, while I'm predicting a loss, I do think it is possible for Lindenwood to pull out a win against this team. They're sitting at 18-3, only one above Lindenwood right now. Their last loss was to Loyola Chicago, who was actually tied to Lindenwood just a couple weeks ago when we checked the last time. And the last true close call game for Ball State was against Lewis University, where they won 3-2. But Lindenwood has beaten Lewis University before. They've beaten them a couple times. So maybe Lindenwood can look at that game, find some weaknesses against Lewis that Ball State was showing, and flip that on its head, possibly get a win. But I'm predicting a loss. And then against Purdue, Fort Wayne, it's a win. I think we win against Purdue, Fort Wayne. I don't think we lose twice in a row. Purdue is currently 9-8 on a 2-loss streak, with it possibly increasing it to a 3-loss streak because their next game is to McKendree. And McKendree,
they're rolling.
hot squad.
They're looking pretty good.
Real hot squad right now. Last 2 games were against Ohio State and Ball State, with both of them being clean sweeps against Purdue, so absolutely no shot. And, I mean, Lindenwood beat Ohio State 3-0. We got swept by Ball State. But overall, we've had pretty good record against those top teams that Purdue is actually losing to. And Lindenwood has beaten at least one of these 2 powerhouses. So...
I mean,
plus, we've beaten Purdue before so far.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, we got swept by Ball State when we're healthy. How are we going to sweep them when we're unhealthy?
Yeah.
I don't love that matchup to begin with. I think that they match up against us really well.
Yeah.
Last time we played them, it was... They are similar to us, but they are better at the things that we are good at. So therefore, they are going to win. And our serve receive wasn't good last time either. We had I don't know how many aces we had, but it was not a lot.
No.
And then on the other side, they were racking them up on us. So I don't think we're winning that one. Purdue Fort Wayne, though, that is a team that we should beat them. I mean, we're still a solid squad. The first 2 sets versus Queen still showed when this team was unhealthy or injured, they still have talent. They can still get the job done. Our top dogs are still our top dogs. They can go out there and compete.
Yeah.
Purdue, Fort Wayne, they're ranked. We should win that one. It's going to be a 1-1 week for Lindenwood. But we got to move on to some baseball. And, man,
I'll let you break it down after I go ahead and give us a quick little update on it, because I know you have...
I have some thoughts
about baseball and softball, but we're going to focus on baseball for now. So let me go ahead. They improved to 10-13 after the break, with Lindenwood currently on a 3-game loss streak, though. They beat Murray State game 1 and 3 of that series, but dropped game 2 with a score of 1-3. They lead straight into conference play against Eastern Illinois right after that Murray State series, where Lindenwood got swept on that series, with the closest game actually being game 2, so smack dab in the middle, being a score line of 4-5. They just could not get the jump on Eastern Illinois. Eastern Illinois had their number all weekend. James.
Dude, they've always had our number.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point, the number is either we're 1-13 or 1-14 all time against this team.
Oh.
I don't know what it is, and I know none of them know what it is. This team is so weird. Nobody bunts in the modern age, and this team bunts so much, and it works.
Eastern Illinois?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They bunt a whole lot of. They love to bunt. And it works for them. It doesn't work for everybody, but it certainly works for them. But
I don't know why. I thought of that one dude who does a puns for the Cleveland Browns meme on the on TikTok, and I'm just thinking of Eastern Illinois going bunts.
I think Iowa Nebraska's coming up for basketball.
Yeah.
And the joke is this game needs to start off with a ceremonial first punt. In honor of their football teams.
In honor of their football teams.
All right, but the baseball team right now, the whole problem is the offense and the defense just needs to step up. They're dead last in the OVC in runs scored, average, on-base percentage, slugging, and they have the second highest strikeout percentage right now in the OVC. The offense is not offensing. And you look at them, you look at all those stats, and you're thinking, okay, this team can't do anything right offensively right now. Surely they're getting blown out. Surely their record's terrible. No, they only have a -3 run differential on the season. They have the best team ERA in the OVC. They have had the least. They've allowed the least earned runs. They have the top 3 pitchers by ERA in the OVC with Niemeyer, Bennis, and Newell. Dude, this pitching staff, all of them, all the starters, a position where I was like, I don't know, coming into this year, they've been electric. They've been great. But unfortunately, if you don't score runs for guys, the pitchers are eventually going to get worn out.
I was about to say,
they're having to stretch.
Yeah, every OVC post I see about baseball, it is about the Lindenwood pitchers consistently, like nonstop.
I made a post for our show about it because they've been so good.
3 of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't even throw Niemeyer on there because at the time Aaron Youngers was going crazy as well. But you see that if you keep having games like this, your pitchers are going to get pressed at some point. They're going to start pressing.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, if I don't pitch perfect today, we're not going to win this game. And you're seeing them have to go longer innings. It's not like we're, okay, guys, we're up 5. Bennis, you've pitched good today. We're going to give you a break. Just let you rest a little bit. Instead, you're having to stretch these guys out. They're having to go 6, 7 and 2/3 innings. I didn't do it. I know you thought I was going to do it. I didn't do it. Anyways,
stop.
I didn't do it. But you have these guys, they're getting stretched out so far. I'm scared about late in the season.
Yeah.
And also, you're having to bring your top guys in. Here's a stat for you. This one is actually insane. Over the last 6 games, bullpen guys not named Aaron Youngers or Ethan Smith have only pitched 3 innings. Over the last 6 games, out of your bullpen, everybody else that's not Youngers or Smith has pitched 3 innings. Is that not insane? It's 6 whole games.
3 innings per game, or
No,
only 3 innings in total?
Only 3. So what? It was 6 games, 6 times 9, 54. Of those 54 innings, only 3 were pitched by guys not named that and your starters. You can't get any of these guys in. They can't get reps. You have young guys. You have guys that are working on things. You have guys that were on the team that are currently going through stuff. Their mechanics aren't there. Maybe they're in their head mentally. How are you supposed to work on those things? How are you supposed to get these depth guys in and give your starters a rest if every game is a 1-run affair and your guys have to pitch lights out?
Yeah.
They don't have games where you're blowing teams out. Despite their offense being so bad, like I said, the run differential -3 on the season. Every game's coming down to that last batter. Mm-hmm. Every time you feel like there's a chance we could win these games. But I fear at some point these guys are going to get worn out. And I think Aaron Youngers, maybe last weekend, that's where that happened with him. Mm-hmm. He'd been so good, and he finally gets a chance in conference play after spending all of last year being injured, and things didn't go his way. He didn't look like himself, and he gave up some runs. Things happen. And, I mean, Niemeyer has always been so good. He gave up some runs as well. I want to see us give these guys a little bit of a break. Give them a chance to go sit down and have a little bit of an easy weekend. Yeah. It's just not happening right now, which leads me into my predictions. Honestly, I think we should do the time and date after predictions. I'm not going to lie. I think it flows better.
Okay.
So,
let's do the time and date after.
We have a big midweek game coming up. We're not predicting the game against Mizzou, although there is a big promo that's going on with that, and we'll talk about that after softball.
I was about to say, we'll get into the Mizzou promo after we get into all ball base and softball knowledge.
Because it is technically for both sports.
It is.
So UT Martin's coming in.
Yep.
And they have lost their last 6 versus Lindenwood.
They have.
But they've been really close competitive baseball games. Mm-hmm. And I expect more of that coming into this weekend because UT Martin has one of the better offenses so far, at least in the early part of the season. They put the ball in play. They're super aggressive. They don't strike out much. They also don't walk a lot. They're a team that is just contact-oriented, which, given some of our defensive struggles, especially on the infield, some pitchers making errors as of late, scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
And you also have a guy on your team in Niemeyer who isn't striking out a lot of guys yet. He's still a freshman. He's still young. He's figuring it out. And his run prevention skills have been crazy, but he's getting a lot of his outs through ground balls and weak fly balls. Against a team that likes to mash, that likes to be aggressive, I'm kind of scared that they might find some bloop hits. They might start finding some holes, especially if they keep putting it in play. I don't like that matchup for him, and that'll be the third game of the series. And then you also look at UT Martin. They have Jacob Sidden, who is one of the best pitchers in the OVC. You look at the ERA chart, you got, I believe, Niemeyer, Bennis, and then Newell. And it might be Bennis and Newell flipped. Right after that, you have Jacob Sidden for UT Martin. He's been really solid. I think he steals game one of this series, and then with all the offensive struggles they've had and potentially a bad matchup versus Niemeyer, I think Lindenwood only wins one of the 3 games.
I'm thinking we walk away with at least 2. I think we don't sweep, but I think we walk away with 2. UT Martin right now, they're 0-3. Granted, we're also 0-3. But taking into effect the strength of the teams right now, we had to play a harder team in EIU than they did with SEMO.
That's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
That's a very hot take, because I think SEMO's better.
I think we had to play a stronger team in Eastern Illinois than what we did in SEMO, especially with a team that's pretty much had our number for so long. I think getting that mental sort of stump out of the way early, push past it, go forward into it. I don't think this is going to be a clean series. I don't think this is going to be like an absolute barn burner. I think this is going to be down to the wire, nitty gritty. You know, we're going to see some very, very close calls on whether something's out, on if the pitching was even relatively good. I think we win 2 of the 3, but I think they are going to come down to single score games. I do want to predict that Lindenwood wins the series, but it's going to be dirty.
Give us a blowout game, man.
It's going to be dirty.
I just need one blowout. I know it's not going to happen.
No.
But if it does, and it needs to, like another thing that's going on with the team right now, news-wise, and we didn't cover it because it's injury-related, but this team is down to their last catcher right now. And it's not your best defensive catcher. You have Radosevich behind the plate right now because Zara fractured something in his wrist. Hey, wrist gang. The at-bat before he hit the walk-off grand slam, that's when they're thinking it happened. So this dude hit a walk-off grand slam with a broken wrist. Really cool, but not cool the fact that he's out of the lineup. That's somebody who has been hitting this season. And then also Brody Short apparently has something going on with his foot. So
as a catcher,
you're down to your last catcher. This is not a good situation.
No.
The last catcher you have, I don't remember who it is, but your backup catcher at this point hasn't played catcher since, I believe, before high school. So Radosevich, get that man some bubble wrap. Make sure he's healthy. We need him to stay in the darn lineup.
At this point, you almost be better with a cardboard cutout with like a soccer net where the glove's supposed to be, and you just aim there.
Hope for the best.
Hope for the best. So that series, however, that is wrong. Here we go. The UT Martin series is actually going to be in Martin, Tennessee, and it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday at 5 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m. However, there's nowhere to watch those. Not on ESPN
Fake
Plus,
school.
nothing.
Fake school.
Fake school.
SMH, bro. You're not broadcasting baseball.
But you want to know the fun part?
What?
That Mizzou game will be.
Oh, yeah?
I'll say it for baseball. We're not going to get into the promo yet, but I'll say what it is for baseball. University of Missouri is here at the Lou Brock Sports Complex, and they play Lindenwood at 6 p.m. You can watch it on ESPN Plus, but it's Mizzou in Lindenwood playing our team.
I pray for everybody on this campus.
Come watch it.
Parking is going to be an absolute disaster. The last time Mizzou was here,
awful.
I wanted to watch the game, and I had to park all the way in the back behind Evans, all the way up by the track. There was zero parking on this campus.
Isn't it a good thing that you live right down the road from
I'm scared that people are going to be parking in front of my house.
I think people are going to park in your grass.
Well, I mean, they can have fun with that all they want. I can't promise their car will be in the same shape afterwards, but
I was about to say, I've seen your lawn. If they park in your lawn, their car's screwed.
yeah, there's definitely some divots in there. I don't know what they're going to do.
I still don't doubt some big truck is going to come park on your lawn.
They better not. I mean, I can't promise there won't be some key marks in it afterwards because you're not allowed to park on property. You're allowed to park there. Especially after the way Mizzou treated us the last time they came here and played us. The way that their fans were chirping, the way that their fans took pride and went on social media after the game and were mean tweeting us, mean comments on Instagram about how they own us. And that was our first year at the Division I level. Get a life. That's sad.
You know how bad it's got to be? That's almost like you going to University of Missouri, Kansas City, and saying the same thing. Like it's not comparable.
Well, I mean, they do suck. I mean, they can't beat the SEC. They're kind of an irrelevant program. They get no funding. I believe their baseball facility is named after a frat instead of a donor because nobody cares. I'm also starting beef right now because I'm still mad about it. That was my freshman year, and I'm having to defend our team on Instagram because the people from Mizzou apparently don't have a life, which is a lie. There are plenty of parties and plenty of things for you to do, but instead you're mean tweeting us.
It's okay.
They only won by a run, by the way.
I totally stole some sororities parking for a Mizzou football game and got out of there before anybody called me.
You're a good man.
Hey, man, nobody was taking the spot. I needed the spot, and my grandma should not have to walk that far into a Mizzou game to go see Alabama. So I took your sorority parking, and I don't even feel bad about it.
I'm a little scared because I'm saying these things right on student radio, but at the end of the day, this is my opinion. I'm not trashing our school.
No.
I'm allowed to say it. I like Mizzou. I'm a Mizzou football fan. I wanted the basketball team to go far in March Madness. But you're playing Lindenwood, and last time, also their fans too, it was just an annoying atmosphere that you're barely beating a first-year Division I school by a single run, mind you. They were losing at points in that game, and their fans were still cheering like they won the College World Series at the end. That's a loss to me.
How sad do you got to be to bully a team that's barely D1 by one run, and you're an SEC school? SEC, by the way, the most egotistical conference in college sports. Let's be honest, it is one of the most egotistical conferences in college sports overall. How are you gonna get so bent out of shape about a one-run win? That's wild to me. And here's the thing, look, if it's not Lindenwood, I'm normally rooting for Mizzou, right? But this is Lindenwood versus Mizzou. I want Lindenwood to win. All I'm saying is, Mizzou, if you lose, you will not hear the end of this. Not from us, mind you. Or not any other Lindenwood. Well, probably from
I will be in your comments.
But
I will be there.
But bear in mind, the entire college baseball world will also clown you. Let's be honest. If Mizzou loses, it's gonna be disastrous for them.
And it's going to be awesome for us.
Oh, it's going to be great
because
for us.
I feel like the baseball program, and I know we need to keep moving. We're going to get to softball after this, after what I say here. I feel like they don't get a lot of attention. A lot of mid-major schools, their baseball teams don't. Beating Mizzou would mean so much for this program, especially if it's a bullpen day. So you get some guys that have barely pitched, the guys that aren't starters. That's something they can tell their grandkids about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I pitched against an SEC school. Well, I was at a low mid-major, and I beat them. What a story that'll be for all those guys. I hope it's a bullpen game. I hope we win. And that one's going to be on ESPN+. Hopefully it looks good. I'll be doing something with it.
Exactly. So in other words, baseball, we got your backs. We're on your side 110%. Beat Mizzou. Please beat Mizzou.
That'd be so cool.
It'd be so cool. Anyway, on to softball now. And same thing goes to softball. Please beat Mizzou, but we'll get into that after.
SLU.
Oh, it is SLU, not Mizzou.
Yeah, it's the big Missouri schools coming in.
Yep. So, the softball recap, though. 12-18 overall right now. 2-7 record within the conference so far. Not a huge vote of confidence. Currently on a 3-loss streak after dropping the series against Tennessee Tech, with Game 3 only going to 5 innings. James, I know you have something to say. One moment. Still,
Don't make it
unfortunately,
sound bad.
No.
There's been a lot of run ruling going on
Yeah.
with this team as of late.
Still, unfortunately, winless on the road as well. Thankfully, though, they go into a series at home against the University of Southern Indiana this weekend. And yes, that is true because although they have been out of town a lot, it's been a lot of neutral sites. So those neutral sites are kept different from away stats. So in away, they're 0-10. In neutral, they're 6-3. So in neutral sites, positive record. However, in away games, they're 0-10. They're winless on the road.
Yeah. I mean, this weekend they ran into the OVC pitcher of the week, Addison Abel. She had a complete game, one hitter in game 1. Game 3, she was part of that complete game shutout. But for me, there's really no excuse to only put up 1 run in 3 games.
No.
I know that things aren't going the greatest. And you look at the stats and you're like, okay, this team isn't that bad. These results shouldn't be happening. And I agree with that because you have talent on this team. You have some girls that can really hit. And I understand pitching right now is going to be a problem. They have almost no depth pitching-wise.
Yeah.
That can get better as the season goes on. That really can. That's something you can improve on. But the batting right now, the hitting overall, it's so inconsistent. But 1 run over the 3 games, that just can't happen. And I mean, they've dug themselves a huge hole in OVC play. The whole goal, and we talked to Anna Sanders when she was in here, the goal is compete for the OVC, make the tournament, go far. That's hard to do when you start the way they have.
Yeah.
There has to be a turnaround here. And I just don't know. I mean, outside of Avery Wapp right now, and even she's having her struggles, there just hasn't been consistent pitching. And until that gets fixed, I don't know if this team's going to be able to outscore other teams. They have talent offensively, true. But having talent is not always enough to overcome 5-run, 6-run deficits early in these games. So I'm hoping they turn it around. And, we have some predictions coming up. We'll see if they're going to turn it around.
So this is probably one of the very rare, very few times that I am going to be pessimistic. And I'm going to predict that Lindenwood loses full sweep. I don't think softball picks up a game against USI this weekend, unfortunately. They're not much better than Lindenwood in the wins and losses, with their record being 10-16. They're currently 7-2 in the conference, though, and are only on a 1-loss streak. So while their overall record doesn't look pretty, their conference record looks real good. And they beat SEMO and Western Illinois in back-to-back series going into this Lindenwood series. So they're coming in with a good, fair bit of momentum here. So I think Lindenwood loses full sweep. And part of that is also because of some of your notes. I did see him a little bit, but I don't have confidence that they'll be able to beat a team that's already coming off of 2 series wins.
Now, given those were against some of the worst teams in the conference, I think Lindenwood could beat SEMO and beat Western Illinois, but it's still momentum. They're feeling good about themselves, where our team, I don't know how you can feel good about yourself.
No.
These weren't competitive softball games. The team was never truly in them. And you're playing against a team that has the best team ERA in OVC play.
Yeah.
So you're having offensive struggles. You're going up against one of the best pitching teams. Now, given it's a small sample size against some of the worst teams, so this will be like their first real test.
Yeah.
But with us having no momentum coming in, you only have beaten this team once in your Division I history. I don't like our odds, but I'm going to be more optimistic, which really isn't saying much. I think we win one of these games. I think Avery Watt could potentially go out there and have a gem. Doesn't even have to have a gem for real. I mean, she could just go out there and be what she was last year.
Yeah.
And there's a chance they win one of these games. Or one of the hitters gets hot. You never know. I'm not going to say we're ever going to get swept. I'm probably never, ever going to predict sweeps for this entire season because there is talent on this team, and they should win at least one of these games.
That's fair. Well, with that, softball, they play Wednesday. They play Wednesday against SLU at 4 p.m. at the Lou Brock Sports Complex. So right before the Mizzou game with baseball, you got to play SLU. So kind of going back to his point about parking, either walk from the dorms, walk from somewhere on campus, or find a ride or hitchhike. The parking's not going to be next to the Lou Brock.
If you're coming to campus, come before all of this is happening and find a spot.
Pretty much.
If you think there's no parking on campus on a normal school day, you're going to be so surprised when these teams come in.
And I'm really wondering if that's actually going to affect the class day too, because it's kind of early, 4 p.m.
I mean, most classes should be done, but it's going to be tough. I mean, trying to get food, people just going to Evans that aren't going to the games, which means you're lame. Respectfully, go. Come on.
Respectfully, of course. No, I think with both SLU and Mizzou coming to campus the exact same day, only a couple hours apart, parking's going to be horrendous. Getting anywhere on campus is going to be absolutely horrendous. So if you're not going to the games, please be safe when walking or driving around campus. However, if you are going to the games, beat the crowd, because that road crowd is going to be insane. But into the series this weekend, it is Saturday and a doubleheader on Sunday. The Saturday game is at 3 p.m. That's at Lou Brock or ESPN Plus, whichever one you might want. And 3 p.m., I think I said. But just in case, there's a reminder, 3 p.m. Saturday. And then the first of the doubleheader is going to be 12 p.m. on Sunday, Lou Brock or ESPN Plus. And then 2:30 on Sunday, Lou Brock or ESPN Plus. I'd recommend just going to the games. I mean, even if Lindenwood still loses them, go to the games. I mean, support them. Show them that you still care for this team.
I'm not even going to attack it from that angle. I think that angle is dead wrong. I'm not going to lie with you. I don't think, we got to support them even if they're going to lose. I think the thought should be it's a non-con game. You're not going to get the other team's best players. You're not going to get the other team's best pitchers. Come be a part of potential Lindenwood history, not support teams that are down in the dumps. You have a chance to be there when these schools beat a team that's way above their pay grade. And that'd be a great memory.
I was talking about USI.
Same thing.
USI's con.
Yeah, but be a part of history. This team had never beat USI. We have that rivalry. They were with us in the GLVC. I don't come in and be like, show them you still care. It should be a fun day to get out. The weather is going to be fine. It's nice to go out to these games. They go by fast. You get yourself some concessions, because I hope concessions should be open.
Concessions should be open.
And honestly, whenever we pan the cameras over for ESPN Plus, we need to have fans in the stands to point them at. Yeah. I'm tired of pointing over there and just seeing parents. We need some students. We need some people to be yelling at the other team's pitcher and giving them some crap. That's what we live for. I mean, that's what college people should be doing.
100%.
And do a little bit of drinking and then come up to the game and be in a ruckus, be annoying.
Or soda.
Yeah, no, I didn't insinuate that they had to drink alcohol.
No. Soda. Anyway,
Minnesota. Let me just do the promo and let's get out of here. So, all right, these games have a big promo on Wednesday. Get dinner at the softball and baseball games on Wednesday. As long as you have a valid ID, you can get food like grilled sandwiches, chips, beverages, frozen desserts, all for free with a valid ID. You can also play bingo to win some prizes. They're going to have some free stuff they're giving away. So the game against SLU, 4 p.m., baseball versus Mizzou at 5 p.m. Should be a fun one. Anytime the school is willing to give away free stuff, you got to take advantage of it. I mean, as a senior, I'm going to tell you that doesn't happen very often. So just get your butts over there and get on it. As long as you have an ID, I believe you are perfectly able to do this.
You're good to go. Alrighty. Well, now we jump into our final sport. Believe it or not, we only got 4 now. And that is lacrosse. 3-7 record on a 3-loss streak and 0-2 in the conference. The closest game after their 20-3 win against Detroit Mercy, great win, was a 15-16 loss against New Hampshire. I wanted to make sure I didn't make that sound worse than it was, because this is where it does sound pretty bad. Since then, though, they have lost to Liberty and University of Delaware with scores of 8-19. And 7-25. What went wrong here?
What went wrong is that the defense and the goaltending has severely limited this is a team's ability to compete. Yeah. The offense is fine. They win draw controls. I know that was a problem against Delaware. Delaware is just really good this year. But what are we doing defensively and goaltending-wise? I feel like we have a good head coach. I don't know. I've never met the man, but it seems like he has the right intensity.
Yeah.
It seems like this team has a good group feel to it, that they have good vibes in the sideline. Unfortunately, I mean, you look at this last game. They were down 9-6 at half. After battling back from 3-0 to tie it back up at 3-3. It's a close game. And in the second half of that game, it was a 16-1 run for Delaware. They were outshot 20-4. This isn't okay. I mean, they have the third best goals per game on the whole season in the ASUN.
Yeah.
Despite some of these games where they didn't necessarily show up or they were playing against better teams. But they have the second worst save percentage, and they have the second worst goals against per game. The offense is fine. They have talent. But defensively and goaltending-wise, they don't have it right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to drill that home too much. I don't want to be like, oh, this one goalie is terrible. They all have talent. They're Division I athletes.
Yeah.
But they got to figure it out in a hurry, or else this is going to be a lost season.
Yeah.
You're a smaller program on campus that doesn't necessarily get the support of other teams. You have to earn respect. I want them to earn that respect. It's an entertaining sport. This is a good group, but people don't show up to their games. They're not winning games right now. And I really want to see them turn that around.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like they have the talent to do it. But the second half against Delaware, I was running replay for that on ESPN Plus, watching I get to watch tape back.
Yeah.
Dude, the effort was not there. This team checked out. Like, that's over. You can't have that.
No.
Not when you're a small team like this. You have to have that chip on your shoulder. You have to play to that final whistle and just keep giving effort, or else people aren't going to take you seriously.
Or, unofficial advice, if you really need the motivation, throw a shoulder. Throw a shoulder.
No,
Get
bro,
aggressive. Get
because-
that adrenaline pumping.
No, because
It's unofficial advice. It's unofficial
also
advice.
not good advice because I don't want this team getting penalized more often and then having to be on the back foot, which puts more pressure on the defense, which puts more pressure on the goaltending when it's already struggling at even strength.
Throw a shoulder.
Okay.
So, are we good to go predictions
I
now?
think we're good to go to
Okay.
predictions.
Again, unofficial advice. James is like the angel on the shoulder. Don't do that.
There's no reason to crash out. You have
No.
talent. I mean, this team
It's
is
not crashing out.
legitimately fine. And I'm just going to go into my predictions then because you need a moment to just think over what you said.
I'm in timeout.
I mean, I've also should have been in timeout for my Mizzou statement earlier. Like, I'm going to key your car. No. I've never keyed someone's car in my entire life.
I don't think you
And
will.
it's not going to happen.
No.
But it sounded good. I think we're losing versus Kennesaw State. I mean, they're like not as good as their record says for sure. I mean, they almost lost to an 0-9 Queens team. They had to go to overtime to win that game.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think Kennesaw is the best team in the world. There's a world where Lindenwood wins this game, but you look at momentum, you look at how the last games have unfolded for these teams. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they barely won in overtime, but they won. Imagine how they felt in that locker room afterwards. Hey, we won. Won a close game. That's a great memory. Golden goal in OT versus Lindenwood, where it was a completely checked out second half of that game. You get mollywopped by Delaware.
Yeah.
I don't think Lindenwood's going to start on time in this one. I don't like the first half here. I think Kennesaw State's going to win. But versus Queens, Queens has not won a game all season. They cannot win draw controls. Offensively, they are inept. They do not shoot. And when they do shoot, they have one of the worst shooting percentages in the ASUN. I think Lindenwood gets back on track versus Queens.
No, I've pretty much got the same thing. I've got them losing against Kennesaw. They're 6-4 coming off that overtime win against Queens. And, I mean, they're sitting undefeated right now in the conference. They're 1-0. Let's not put too much stock into it. But it feeds into the narrative a little bit. Kennesaw's been playing good, and although their record may suggest they're not phenomenal, it's still enough to beat this Lindenwood team, unfortunately. However, swap over to Queens, we're going to be Queens. I have no qualms with that. Like you said, they're 0-9. Their last loss from Jacksonville University with a score of 8-13, kind of hailing back to your 8 goals per game right there. Lindenwood should be able to shut them out. Maybe not have a shutout.
No, that's not going to happen.
Lindenwood should be able to shut them down with no issue. And I think this is one of those games where if you do not shut down Queens, you need to start looking at your roster and figuring out what's going on. Not necessarily make changes, but ask, hey, what do we need to do to change this mindset? Because Queens should be an easy game.
Yeah, unfortunately, they brought in their second goalie against Detroit Mercy. She looked great. And then the very next game, she got lit up immediately, and they haven't gone back to her yet.
Yeah.
And that was a moment in the season where I was like, yes, we have a hot goalie. And it didn't last.
Yeah.
It was a flash in the pan. She's also very young, so not a lot of experience at this level. That takes time. But until they figure out the goaltending situation and they can get a save or two from time to time, against Queens, though, you got to win that one. But we're adding something different this week. Since most of the sports are done here on campus, there are some other sports that don't really get talked about that we have a few quick hitters on. So, Jet, Mr. Justin, would you like to get us started with men's golf?
For sure. We're just going to do these rapid fire. Well, rapid fire, as rapid as we really want them to be. Now, men's golf finished 12th out of 16 teams at the Austin Peay tournament. Not the greatest, but also not last. So, shows improvement where it needs to be had, but still a pretty good team. Women's golf currently 9th out of 14 teams at the Ozarks National Invitational. So, hey, top 10.
And that one might have changed. That was before the show when we wrote these notes.
That was.
That event is currently happening. It wrapped up today. So, if you want to know how they really did,
go ahead and go take a look over there.
I feel like we should take a look at the end of the show. But anyways, let's keep moving.
But beach volleyball currently 10-4 beat Tuscaloosa and Florida Southern 4-1 before falling 2-3 to both Eckerd and Palm Beach Atlantic in the Battle of the Bay tournament. So not bad, 2-2, but they're currently 10-4 on the record. So beach volleyball, looking forward to see what you guys got for the rest of your season. Now, James, do you want to hop us into the others?
So women's tennis, which I just have listed as tennis because men's tennis is not a thing anymore. They are 5-4 on the season. They just beat Western Illinois 6-1 to improve to 2-0 in OVC play. They swept singles, they lost doubles, but doubles doesn't always matter. 6-1 in that one. Number 3 rugby stayed undefeated by beating McKendree 57-0 and Davenport 70-19 at home this week, which clinched them the Midwest Conference Championship, which was basically already clinched. Nobody was going to catch them, but it's official. They're the winners. Really slow first half versus Davenport. I know the coach mentioned it. It was a really tight half, and people were like, whoa. Uh-oh. Lindenwood is on upset watch. No. No.
Not even
Whatever
close.
was said in the locker room in between and halftime really got the guys fired up. Then our last team that we're going to cover is the Shotgun team. They won their 19th national title at the ACUI Collegiate Nationals. Anna Raw secured the title of American Trap Women's National Champion, and Jacob Diller secured the title of American Trap Men's National Champion after a shoot-off consisting of 325 straight, which apparently, judging from the Facebook post, these shoot-offs weren't really a thing before this year. At least they were at some point, and they weren't, which meant you had a lot of ties. This year, they let them duke it out. They had an extra day of the tournament where they could shoot off. And Lindenwood, they bring home 2 titles like that. They win the whole thing. Congratulations to them.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a promo here.
Okay.
Because like James mentioned at the beginning of the show, I have had the opportunity to work with a local team here in St. Louis and to kind of bring some news to Linden Lake. I'm sorry if I've been blowing up your phones with those articles as much. However, I do want to say the St. Louis Battlehawks season starts this Saturday. It is professional football back in the Lou. You have Nelly and the St. Lunatics as the halftime show. And if you look at some of the halftime shows that are going on across the league, I mean, you got DJ Khaled in Orlando. You've got Ludacris in Houston. Gucci Mane is, I think he's in Birmingham. So, you've got some of these really big names, really exciting for the UFL. But the Battlehawks are back. It is at 11 a.m. It is at the Dome at America's Center in downtown St. Louis. Tickets are cheap, y'all. You could buy them at the Dome. I think the most expensive ticket is $100, and that is on sideline. Other than that, they range anywhere from like $20 to $100. And it's all, by the way, Upper Bowl hasn't went on sale. It's all lower bowl. So you get good seats no matter where you are. Please, please, please go support professional football in the city of St. Louis. Prove that we are not a fluke city. We very much deserve football, and the Battlehawks have been a consistent reminder of that. So please go ahead. If you're not going to watch some college sports, go watch some pro sports.
All right, well, without further ado, I think it's time we move into our 3 stars and team of the week. I broke things.
Did you break things?
I think I broke
It's
things.
time to go inside the Lions Den and break down.
All right, I'm breaking things. Things are
Okay.
breaking. We're going to figure that out. I believe our 3 stars music is playing. So that was the first time that's ever happened. For those of you unaware, we have like a little soundboard here, and the soundboard decided that it didn't want to do what I told it to do. So I guess I'll look into that after the show. But every single show, we always have the ability, well, we give you guys the ability to interact with us by voting for your 3 stars of the week across Lindenwood Athletics and your team of the week. And also on this show, Justin comes in without seeing these polls at all, and then he gets his word in. And you are scaring me. You are really close to that microphone.
I apologize. I will back away.
Now, let's just go through here. Let's get your votes in, and then we can crown our 3 stars and team of the week.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go through Team of the Week, vote on it, and then we do 3 stars. Alrighty, so teams of the week that are up for nomination. Tennis, 6-1 win over Western Illinois to move to 2-0 in conference play. Men's volleyball, 2-0 home and away series versus Queens, 8-2 in conference play currently. Also, still ranked number 11. Still one of the best. Still one of those close to top 10 teams. Number 3 rugby. I feel like we're robbed by saying number 3 rugby. We should be higher, but
T1A didn't like us.
who am I to argue with them? I don't know, maybe a 70-19 against Davenport, whatever. They messed up, they'll fix it eventually. Number 3 rugby beat McKendree and number 18 Davenport to stay undefeated so far on the season.
Only undefeated team in D1A, by the way, sitting at number 3 and not guaranteed a home playoff game throughout the entire
Which is
playoffs.
insane. Fix yourself, D1A. Anyway, let's continue on. And, of course, Shotgun won their 19th national title at the ACUI Collegiate Nationals. Now, I think for me, this is either between rugby or Shotgun. Because while men's volleyball, those are great wins. Tennis, great wins. Rugby staying undefeated, especially against another ranked opponent, against McKendree. I mean, this rugby team is on a tear. They're doing phenomenal. By the way, anytime we tag them in any of our posts, the guys show up. They're great. I think I got to give it to Shotgun, though. 19th national title, and the fact that both men and women shooters got a national title, I think Shotgun deserves it. And now, to vote for, to tell you the top team with 50% of the vote.
Drum roll. Hey, that worked.
There we go. It is number 3 rugby with beating McKendree and number 18 Davenport to stay undefeated. That's right, rugby team of the week. Congratulations. I feel like I knew that one was coming, but I'm not shocked. They're doing a phenomenal job. And like I said, if I didn't vote for Shotgun, it was going to be for rugby. So congratulations to the rugby guys. You did absolutely amazing. Now, on to the 3 stars of the week.
Let me run it down for you, all right?
Run it down.
Our top option right now, we got Charlie Isom McCall. He hit .583, 7 for 12 with 4 runs scored and 3 doubles this week. He started off the season slow. He's picking it up. That's why he was one of the highest rated freshmen. Lindenwood picked him up last year, and now he's starting to figure it out. Caden Whiteside, career high 19 kills on a 483 hitting percentage on Sunday versus Queens. Josh Newell, yeah, he lost. His record isn't the best right now. That doesn't mean he's not pitching good, because he had 1 earned run through 7 2/3 inning pitched versus Eastern Illinois. And then finally, I feel bad for this one. I had to choose between the shotgun national champions. I ultimately chose to put Jacob Diller on this one. He was the trap shooter men national champion after a shoot-off of 325 straight. The only reason why he's on here and his female counterpart is not is because his shoot-off went longer. It was just more of a grind, but still, both of them, huge congrats to them. But Justin, out of those 4 options, who you feeling?
I kind of like the previous one. I feel like I got to give it to the shotgun sports. That is such a long shootout. You win nationals. You deserve the praise. And boy, howdy, was I wrong. And actually, our 3rd star of the week is actually Jacob Diller, trap men's national champion after a shoot-off of 325 straight. The 2nd star, are we doing a drum roll?
We're doing a drum roll.
Go
Since
for
it's
it.
working.
2nd star is going to be Caden Whiteside with his career-high 19 kills on a 483 hit percentage on Sunday. And now, for the top star of the week with 56% of the vote, it is Charlie Isom McCall, hitting 583 with 4 runs scored and 3 doubles. Congratulations to our top 3 stars of the week. Very well deserved. And yeah, I mean, that is a great performance. Maybe I'm a little partial. I thought shotgun should have won. National championships are a big deal. Very proud of those guys over there. But 4 runs, that's pretty good.
We threw baseball on the list. You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just impressed. He'd struggled all season long. Lindenwood was looking for a leadoff hitter that was finally going to produce for them. And I think he's finally filling into that role.
Oh, yeah.
He's played really good defense for the team as well. Congratulations to Charlie. Also, his mother is a very pleasant woman. I had to be in the car with her down to Arkansas.
I'll say this. I'm not sure their relationship. I'm pretty sure their family. Daniel Isom of the Battlehawks. We're going back to Battlehawks. I got to meet him and talk to him at the Magic House this past Friday. Absolutely cool dude. I told him I was from Lindenwood. He knew exactly where I was from, and I think now I know why. So I have no doubt in my mind that whole family is absolutely amazing people.
Yep, they are. And everyone that tuned in, you're also a wonderful person, because
Thank you all.
Thank you guys for showing up for us. I know it was weird. I mean, I think I had a really off show. I'm not going to lie. I think you had a great show.
I think this show is actually not too bad, especially for sort of a down in the slumps. It's been a bad week for athletics. It's been a rough week so far, but we're hoping to improve it.
Yeah, I mean,
We're hoping
things
to
can get
improve
better. I mean, I didn't know what to expect with archery. I really didn't. I
Archery
think that was a
good.
really fun interview.
Oh, yeah.
I think you really killed it with the interview. I'm not going to lie. I was just off. I think I've just been off for a while. I'll try to lock in next week, guys. But thank you all so much for tuning in. If you missed anything from today's show, the full replay should be up on the Roar Network YouTube channel tomorrow. Hopefully in the morning. I'll try to get it out before noon. No promises, though. I'm going to not be at my house this evening. And then, when I try to post some clips over the course of the week, but I'm also working an unpaid internship.
It'll be up when it's up,
might
people.
not have time to do it.
Give this man his time.
All right. Well, thank you guys all so much. I hope you guys have a good one.
It's
And
time
we'll see you in the next
for the stars of the week. Thank you for listening to the Lions. We're on air every Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here on the Tower, and all recordings are on the Roar Network YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your evening, and go Lions!